Hey, let's go. We've been waiting for Jonathan Arreola to come on and be with us on the OUTLOUD podcast, sponsored by On the Path. And John, we're really glad to have you here. John's a videographer and has been working on some really cool music that we don't see a lot these days. Some of the stuff that really, like, wow, that's different stuff. So we reached out to him and he made some time to come on for us and spend some time with us. So Jonathan Arreola, video extraordinaire, young buck, up and coming, and we're glad to have you on, man. So
hey, honored to be here. Really honored to be here. I've seen a couple of the guests you guys had, so I'm just glad to be within that same category, man. I've seen the episode of who was it, Damian Torres?
Yeah.
Little man, that was a powerful. Yeah, that was a powerful episode, man. So.
It really was, man. And I told everybody I'm on my Halloween costume, but most nights when you see me on the football field on Wednesday night practice, I probably kind of look like this, coming out on the field. So. Yeah, man. Yeah. So cool. Well, we're glad to see you. I know you got a lot of really cool current stuff coming up, but we want to hit you up a little bit and ask you who's Arreola Productions, who's John, and start kind of back in the good old days with, where'd you grow up and what was your family makeup like, and what's going on back then that has brought you up to right now.
Yeah, let's get to it. So let's see. Okay, my mom and dad had me when they were like 20 years old, give or take, right? So they were younger parents. They both grew up in East LA. So my dad was like one of 9 siblings, right?
Nice.
So he had a packed household. Like at a young age, he was out doing his thing, making money. And then my mom, she has like 4 or 5 siblings, but her thing is like she really never got that attention and that care from home. So she was trying to move out at an early age too. So like they just met up. They had me at a young age. And before I get into like anything crazy that might have happened when I was younger and stuff like that, like I just got to give a shout out to my mom for real, because she's been my rock since I was a baby, man. She's always held it down through thick, through thin. Like any mistake I might have made, she was there the whole time. So
nice.
That's the first thing. Like she was my mom and my dad.
Nice.
Yeah. Forever and ever, amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see.
So when did you guys move to Whittier?
We might have been here since I was little. Actually, we moved around a lot. So I went to Santa Gertrudis Elementary in Santa Fe Springs when I was like 5 through 10, and then prior to that, like we used to live in Vegas. We bounced to Buena Park, Pico. Like we were all over the place, to be honest with you. But Whittier, I've been here for about 3 years now. We're finally at like a stable place. And it's just like, life is good now.
What did your mom do for a living?
So growing up, she was a waitress, right?
Nice.
And we always have this funny discussion because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm really cheap. I'm like one of the cheapest, most rippiest guys you'll ever meet, right? And when I go to restaurants with her, I don't believe in tips. Okay?
Oh no.
So it's always a thing. She goes, "How you not gonna tip? I raised you on tips and this and that." And I'm just like, but
I'm gonna play the Reservoir Dogs scene right, and I'm gonna cut to the Reservoir Dogs scene where there's no tipping at the beginning.
Come on, throw in a buck.
I don't tip.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in tipping?
That's me,
yeah,
man.
Mr. Pink. We can definitely have that conversation at some point, but for now, continue with growing up and what was happening. So moving around a lot in Vegas and back, and what was your life like in the struggles, and what did you know and not know, and
yeah. So early on, man, like to be honest, we've been broke our whole lives. Like I said, my parents had me at an early age. They didn't have everything together, so it was a lot of picking up the pieces for them and putting things together. Let me see. You might have to cut here there, but
don't worry about it.
a lot of people go through a lot of different shit, man. I mean, that's one thing about this podcast that we've learned, John, is that you know, all the best people that we admire and love the most have had to go through some shit that is, you know, people, we don't talk about our shit, you know.
Yeah.
Guys like us don't talk about our stuff, you know. Guys like us, you know, handle it and take it on and then go and bust your ass and take care of business and be the leader and that kind of thing. And you know,
Exactly.
but those things are badges of honor, you know. And we look at these men that have gone through this stuff and then come through, because we know nobody fucking, you know, parents didn't know what they didn't know, you know. I've got every story. Tommy's got stories. We all got a story, you know. So it's interesting to hear, you know, and you know, no judgment, but you know, that's the way you grow up. We want to know who Jon Arreola is and what those influences and those hardships and that tough stuff was. So with all due respect, jump on that story a little bit for us.
Yeah, man. So let's see. So like I said, we would bounce around a lot, right? My mom would always try to have like a stable job and do her thing. And it would always be cool for a minute. But, you know, my dad, on the other hand, he's a little more on the wild side. And before I like, you know, say anything negative or whatever, like shout out to him too, because if it wasn't for him, man, I'd be a lot more timid. I'd be a lot more weaker. Like he really instilled these qualities within me that like I didn't know I needed till I was a grown man.
Right.
And, he wasn't there much, but like when he was there, he made sure he was there. But with that being said, like he was in and out of jail. Like I don't remember him being there the most. And my mom would struggle with that, man. We'd get on our feet. We'd come out of jail and then we'd get mixed up with this crowd of people. They would come to the house, like those type of situations. And every house or apartment we got, we get thrown out of. And it was just constantly like that over and over. I remember we lived in Whittier, right there on, what's the street called? It might be Dutchess, right there by Jack in the Box area.
Okay.
At that time, I must have been like a freshman, sophomore. And,
oh, wow.
You know, was going to school, doing my thing, whatever. And, you know, he was always out there just, you know, making his little transactions, getting his extra money. And I remember one time we were in the house, it must have been like 7, 8 o'clock, and we heard like gunshots, pop, 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 like 5, 6 of them. And we all looked at each other like, what the hell? And ended up being they were shooting at my dad, like he was zooming in and out and all types of stuff. But it's just situations like that he got himself into, which affected the whole family. You know, we got thrown out of that place. And, you know, kind of like when I joined the program, at those times we were living at the motels, Motel 6, Nights In, like it was a struggle, to be honest. And at the time I was so embarrassed, like I would keep it so low key and not want to tell anyone, just because like, I don't want any people or any girls to know that I live at the motel. Like it was so embarrassing. But now, like you said, I wear it as a badge of honor. Like those things make me who I am. And I'm so resilient because of those things.
What was, Jonathan, what was one lesson that you learned from your mom and one lesson you learned from your dad? There's just one. If you could just, the first thing that pops in your head, what were some of the things that you learned? Because this is going to be real easy. When we talk about how successful you're going to be, it's because of this. It's because of these struggles. You're so strong. But give me some insight to what their personality was like. What was one thing that your mom taught you and one thing that your dad taught you?
Well,
good or
bad?
Bad?
Off top, the first thing that just pops into my head from my mom was like integrity, man. She really instilled these great values in me. And like she gave me such a loving household, even though we didn't have much. Like she always made sure I was fed, I was cared for. And like it made it seem like everything was good, and I believed it for so long.
Right.
So integrity, though, I learned from her for sure. Like I'm a good man because of her. I don't do anything I'm not supposed to. I think I got a good moral compass, but that's I give that all to her.
That's awesome. That's a great tribute, man. That's good.
Yeah. My father, on the other hand, like I said, man, like he's rough around the edges. He's a tough dude, and like I always looked up to him because of that when I was younger. You know, and that was one thing I took from him, just like strength and honestly, grit. Grit is the word I'll call it.
That's a good feature.
Yeah. And what did you gravitate to during those times? You know, there were hard times, and I know we know each other from John was in my football program back when I was a coach, and he was a player. And going through these things, I got to interact with John and was part of some of his upbringing during that time. And the integrity that he showed was kind of what drew me to him. And and you always had that kind of yes sir, no sir kind of thing, and you were real humble, and and when we found out you could play ball, we were like, oh man,
Hey,
that dude balls out. That quiet guy, that guy that's humble, that guy that is not the one to jump up in front right away and put himself on blast. Now, I don't know how you were in amongst the boys, and the girls and stuff, and I'm sure you had your rap, but you came across with those things, the grit and the integrity, those things from your mom and your dad definitely showed up in your personality. You were very cool. You never looked like you were out of place. Looked good, and can show good, and was, like I said, teachers liked him and stuff. What was going on inside you? Were you into school? Were you focused on what got your attention?
Man, I was never really in a school like that. Like, the only reason I showed up my senior year was because of your program, to be honest with you. Like,
Hallelujah.
I was so invested in that. And to be honest, before I even get into everything else, like, I took so much from your program. I want to sit here and tell you publicly, man. Like, I kind of feel like if I wasn't in there, and you just give off these values and these lessons that I carried with me for the rest of my life. So I'm definitely glad I was a part of that. And
that's cool.
That's awesome.
And you're a special person too, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff people don't know, but one thing, like, I definitely want to say out loud and just publicly is you go above and beyond. I remember this one time, I was like walking home from school. I think it was after practice or something. And at those times, like, I swear I didn't have nothing to eat. Like, I'd go home worried about what I'm going to eat. I remember this one time he sent a student over, like, as I was walking to the bus stop, and he sent him with some money. He goes, "Here, Coach Willard gave you some money." He said to grab something to eat. And just stuff like that, man, that sticks with me for the rest of my life. So thank you.
That's
Dang,
awesome.
John,
Yeah.
you just got Coach all in trouble with CIF now. He's in trouble.
Oh, man. We can cut that. We can cut that.
Hey, I'm retired. Fuck those motherfuckers.
Fuck those guys.
Fuck that shit.
They're paying some people over at Bosco. Don't even worry about it.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I know, and you lived up to it. I know we had a high standard, and you lived up to it. And I was telling Tommy that ultimately got to play in an all-star game and get a pick in an all-star game, and, and put that shit to rest. When you're done. But you had something to take with you, and I know.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I tried to play with the big boys for a minute, man. I went to college, played like half a year. I was playing right there at Fullerton College, right?
Yeah.
And I was on the what do you call it, like the practice squad. So I was going up against their first string, getting obliterated every single day, man. So that ended quick.
Yeah, but you rose to the top in a million ways, and so to see you kind of in your new gig now and what you're doing now, we feel, we can just see that possibilities of you going to the top and doing those things. So tell us a little bit more about, as you got through the program and enjoyed that, here I got to go and played ball for a minute. And what was the rest of your life like?
Yeah, so at that time, like, my mom and my brother and my whole family was still living at our hotels, and my grandparents actually took me into their house in La Mirada. And, like, it was a struggle there too, because they were going through their own BK, like they were going bankrupt and doing their own thing. But it allowed me to focus in for a minute and not have to worry about all the shit we were dealing at the hotels. Like, I'm telling you, those hotels were like, you got people living next to you, selling this, doing that. Like, it's a crazy life. And so I was glad to get out of that for a minute, but I always had that guilty conscience of like, okay, I'm in a good, stable position, getting a job now, making my money, but like my family's over here. And that never sat right with me. No matter how good I did, no matter how much I succeeded at football, or I was making money working, like, I never felt good until I came back here.
Now, behind the scenes, Jonathan, now, did you slip into some of those bad things from time to time? I mean, obviously, you didn't get put in jail, and you're not that kind of guy, and you have integrity and all that stuff. But were you able to fend off all that negativity in the water there?
For a brief period, I didn't. And the good thing about me is I learned really, really early because I was introduced to that early. So, like,
Right.
Where I was really, really fucking up was middle school, man. Like I
Okay.
was smoking weed, drinking, all types of stuff in
Right.
middle school. And I'll never forget this one time. I had got caught up because smart idea. I had brought weed to school,
There you go.
and you know, somebody told somebody. The whole staff knew. They called me in, and actually, Deputy Carrillo came down, and
Wow.
came
Shout out to Dep.
Shout out Carrillo.
Yeah.
He came in, looked at me, mean mugging me. I'm like, oh shit, you know. And they searched me down. They didn't find it on me because I was too slick, man. I pulled it out my shoe, threw it under the desk, like stuff like that. But you know, eventually I got caught that same day, and you know, I'll never forget. My mom came crying. My dad was quiet, but when we went back home, he was low key proud, like, yeah, that's right, that's my boy,
no.
type of stuff. You know what I mean? So that was that influence. But my mom was crying, and like Deputy Carrillo made me tell them like what I did, and that hurt the most to see my mom cry like that.
Yeah.
Man, that stuck with me forever. But you know, fast forward, this is like the first full circle moment I've had ever, man. Senior year, got done playing ball. And this is another one for Coach Willig. Him and Deputy Carrillo put their money together, right? To get me a fucking Letterman. A Letterman.
Oh, man.
That I couldn't afford. My parents couldn't afford. And they got me that. And man, that meant so much to me too. I remember telling my mom that. And my mom was like crying, bawling out because she remembers that's the same deputy that fucking got me in trouble, sent me to another school many years back. And my bad, I'd be going in circles when we're talking.
No. That's what we do here. That's exactly how we do. So, yeah, man, that was, you know, I mean, we've been blessed. You know, we've all been blessed. So we pay that shit forward. And you know, I know everybody that was a part of the deal, you know, will pay their stuff forward because of all that. So that's the way that works. And we were proud to be able to be involved. But and again, you know, we got to see you play. You know, we got to see your evolution and that kind of stuff, and it made us proud. So, you know, that was good stuff. And, you know, got to see your mom, you know, them come out and your piece be out there for the senior nights and stuff like that. And you could see how proud they were. And it was a moment for everybody to, you know, to be out there and show up. And, you know, I was excited for you in those moments. You know, we were, like I said, when we go full circle, come back around to see you, you know, growing up and doing your thing, you know, we were excited to get you on and talk to you. So when did you start gravitating toward the business? You know, when did you start seeing things from the eye of the you know, videographer, producer kind of a deal?
To be honest, it really just came to me. Like, I always loved music. Like, I grew up on music. My dad, my mom would play music all through my childhood, like rock, rap, everything. So that was like really my first love. I remember like when I was younger, I used to write little raps, little rock songs in my journal. So my love of film comes from my love of music. And I originally got started trying to manage artists. Like I had a couple friends that rapped here and there. I would try to book them shows. Mata was one of them. We book them like backyard shows, try to get them at bars. We were like 17, 18.
Right.
And, you know, we got a couple. We finessed our way into a couple bars, just situations like that. And then I was going to college for a little bit, trying to do graphic design, like so I can make flyers and like logos, stuff like that. And I ended up meeting a dude named Abdullah, who's like a really, really good friend. He had to move back to his country. He comes from Uzbekistan. And he ended up just clicking, man. And like, he got me into videography. We did our first music video together. And since that, like after that first one was done, it was a wrap. I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it at the highest level I could.
What was the name of that song?
That one's called Vibe No Flossing. And the funny story about that one is, you know, some rap stuff. But the funny story about that one was one of the dudes in that group, his name is Kevin. He goes by KG. I met that guy in a fucking warehouse job. Like we were breaking our backs 50 hours a week for like minimum wage, below minimum wage. Right. And we ended up clicking because he's like, oh yeah, I make beats, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then fast forward years later, we got like videos back to back ready to drop.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think the key here is that we got to try to figure out, you know, because I'm a teacher, Coach Willig is, doing the security side and master of ceremonies. But like, I want people to listen to this somewhere in the world and say, I'm like that guy. I got nothing going around. Or I got nothing good, positive going around except my mom's love, and I'm gonna push forward. I mean, there's so many bombs going off all over the time as you're walking past. How in the world do you navigate it? Is it strictly a black and white thing? I'm only gonna do good things. I'm only gonna hang out with good people, because that seems like a lot of effort, because there's so many bad people.
Yeah, that was the first thing that I had to learn early on, is like a lot of my life and the situations I was in was dependent on the people I was around. And early
Nice.
on, I really had no good people to be around, to be honest with you. Like, I used to
Right.
hang out with little cholos, they would do this and do that. And that wasn't me at all, at all. Like, I had too much to lose, and I knew that from an early age. So
Okay, tell me, but wait. You
yeah.
had so much to lose? What, you were in a
Yeah.
motel? What do you got to lose?
It's that family. Like I had faith even then that we weren't always going to be in that situation. And
I like
honestly,
that.
there was times
like
where I
that.
didn't have that faith. Like, my mom would, oh man, my mom used to go outside of the 7-Elevens and panhandle. Like, oh, do you
Right.
have spare change? Get money for the hotel for the night, before she started working and all that again. But she had faith, and I thought it was ridiculous at the time. I'm like, Mom, how are we gonna get out of here? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is not
Right.
gonna happen. And she kind of instilled that faith, like, no, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out, even through all the bullshit. So I give that to her, like, having faith that things are gonna get better.
And it was on her. She never asked you to go out and hustle. She never asked you to go out and get a job, paper route, mow the lawns. She never asked you to do that.
No, never. And
Man, that is a strong woman, man.
she's the strongest woman I know. And like, I don't tell this to her face enough, just because it's hard for me to express that. But
She's
gonna
gonna be
watch this and
rewinding
cry.
this. She's gonna
No,
be rewinding this a couple times.
for sure, for sure. And even at the time too, like, my dad was around when we were in the motels, and like, he kind of dropped the ball a lot. So that
Mhm.
that made me even be more of the man I am. Just go extra hard, because I'm like, dude, if you could see your whole family struggle like this, and watch your wife, whatever, go and
Yeah.
panhandle, like, it just
You don't
leaves a
want to
bad
step
taste.
up, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. So all right, well, somebody has to.
I talk to a lot of kids, and they're always kind of worried about what they don't know and what the things they don't know about. And sometimes I tell them, gee whiz, you know what not to do, and sometimes that's good enough. Sometimes
Yeah.
knowing what not to do and who not to hang out with
Oh,
is
for
just as
sure.
powerful as having all these great dreams and all these fantasies and all that bullshit. You know what?
Yep.
Sometimes I'm just not going to be here. I'm just
Exactly.
not doing this. Anything
Yep.
else, not
Yep.
this.
And that was the first thing I had to learn. If I have nobody good around me, then just don't be around bad people. There was a point in
Wow.
time where I just locked myself in. I didn't hang out with any friends, and I was reading books, listening to podcasts, because that was the only
Wow.
way I could get good information in my ears, is looking at these people that I don't know. And at that time, when I was like, I'll call that like the self-development sort of phase,
Yeah.
it was hard to like buy into a lot of the stuff these people on YouTube and these books were saying, because it's like, yeah, none of that shit exists around me at all.
It
But
doesn't.
like,
Yeah.
just having faith again, and believing that, you know what, I'm gonna get myself out of this.
How come other kids don't do that? How come
I
other
feel
kids can't see clearly?
I feel like, in my opinion, and I just had this talk the other day with my mom. I feel like a lot of kids get stuff handed to them, right? And I feel like when you get stuff handed to you and you don't gotta do shit on your own, you don't gotta feed yourself, like, yeah, that's
Now, do you have a debt to pay to your mom? Is that part of your
Oh
journey
yeah,
now? So
that's
now
part.
you make it big, and then it's gonna come back a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I want to make sure like she never has to work again. Like,
Mm.
put her in a house. Like, that's some of the things that drive me, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the creative process, and what are your influences, and how do you how's your approach to video, your special qualities? How's that work?
A lot of it comes from pre-planning, man. I had seen this quote the other day. It's by Sun Tzu, The Art of War. He says,
Attaboy.
80% of the battle's done before the war even starts, or something like
Yes,
that.
sir.
90%, whatever. So that's where a lot of it comes from, man. Pre-production. Like, I really dial in. I pull up a lot of references. Like, everything's pretty much done before I get there. and then I get there and I execute it, man. And honestly, like I just listen to the song. To be honest, I know the songs more than the artists know the songs because I listen to it so repetitively, hours on end, just thinking of ideas, writing in my notebook. Like that's how it starts. So I know the whole song from front to
So,
back.
so when
But
you go through that process, are you presenting the artist with 2 or 3 different concepts, or do you know what the concept is and you fight for that concept? How does that work?
I usually always do one concept and try to get that right on. And it's like I kind of find it hard to detach once I'm on something. Like, okay, this is it. This is the one. And
Yeah,
to be honest, at the level I'm at right now, a lot of videographers aren't doing that, or directors aren't doing that at these lower levels because I'm still like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But they're not doing any sort of pre-production. They're pulling up and shooting, and I feel like definitely right off the bat, that's what separates me. I send artists what I call treatments. It's like a PDF file of all the images, the ideas on a nice piece of the
Yeah,
PDF.
yeah, yeah.
And when I send that to artists, they're like, "Whoa, what the hell? Like this is crazy." And that's just because I see the big dogs in the game doing that, and I replicate them. I'm not copying anybody at my level. I'm looking to the top, and I'm like, I'm gonna use their.
Nice.
Damn, that's genius, dude. That's a soundbite right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's again, seeing those guys and going after that is again one of those things where that drive obviously has shown up, and you're gonna again Tom and I talk a lot about championship mentality. Being able to think and care about the little things that nobody else thinks about, that they don't understand, to put you over the top. And being having that humble, low-key approach where you can sneak up on people and shift gears and go by them, because they're not, everybody's sleeping, not working hard, but putting in the time, and to see the work ethic, where does that come from?
The work ethic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where that comes from, but I might want to give that to my dad, man. Like he hustled a lot when the time he was on it and taking care of the family. Like that man was always moving, man. Whether it was work, making these runs here and there, like he was a hustler. And my mom too. But I really don't know where that comes from. It just feels right to go hard every time. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and it's always felt right that way. If I don't do it that way, then it's like, why the fuck am I here half-assed?
So I was Chuck sent me the links to a couple of the videos that you had in your Instagram and stuff like that, and I was looking. I kind of like dragged my feet a little bit, and right before the thing, I took a look, and I couldn't get enough. Then I went on Instagram. I was like, but there is one scene. There's the one I can't remember the name of the song, but it looks like the kid is in a maybe a hospital setting, and the guy's flat, and the doctor's flashing the lights in the kid's eyes, and you captured that. And I apologize for not knowing that, and I'll make sure I'll put it up on the video.
You're good.
And if you allow it, maybe we can play a little clip of it. But there's a scene right after that where the guy he's like going like this, and he pushes the light away, and I thought that was the most real fucking thing I've ever seen in a short film. Chuck and I worked in a hospital, and we saw that all the time. The kids are like, oh, and he was just like, like focused and not. And man, I tell you what, I scrubbed that back like 4 times. I was like, that is real stuff. Like if you're ever going to go to USC film school or whatever, make sure you put that reel on there. I know it's something. Film school or whatever, make sure you put that reel on there. I know it's something, it's some of your early stuff, but good Lord, that was real. And I just want to, I'm going to put it up on the when we do the edit, because it is so cool. And maybe nobody else will think it's cool, but I was like, that is for real. That is movie making. I don't know what that is. I don't know who that kid is. I don't know if he's high or not, but that's exactly what the kids look like in the hospital whenever Chuck and I worked there. And I just was like, it's not some bullshit bravado. You were doing storytelling. You were sending a message, and you were telling a story. And I'm just so proud of you. I don't even know you. And I was like, holy moly. I didn't know if I was going to see some booty shaking and some freaking, some strobe lights and shit.
You'll
I didn't
see
know what
that
I was.
eventually.
No. And I'm not trying to, I want to apologize for not taking it a little bit more seriously earlier in my preparation, because I probably would have watched everything you got. But man alive, and I think when our fans see it, they're not going to believe the quality. You're not going to believe the quality, the 4K, the lighting. They're not going to believe how clear it is, the story. I wasn't even hardly listening to the song because I was just watching the story. So, anyways, hats off to you, and I apologize to the artist I wasn't listening. But
talk a little bit about that, John. Talk a little bit about the specifics.
Please tell me, yeah. What's your process?
That was Mata. That's my boy Mata. That song's called "Stay," and like I said, we've been working for a minute, me and that guy. But that scene actually, like the story's basically he's depressed, he overdoses, he ends up in the hospital, and right there, like I won't even take the credit for that, man. I'll give that to him because I told him like, yo, do this, do that. Like he was acting. That was him doing his thing and just me capturing it. And that hospital setup, like sometimes we're not working with the biggest budgets, man. So we gotta empathize. So that situation was we're in his room. I know we needed a hospital setup. I know we don't have the budget for it right now. So I'm like, you know what, we're gonna finesse this. And what we ended up doing was creating like a fake freaking hospital room. I put the green overhead light. I used this bed. I folded his bed. We got a piece of metal that we found outside on the street and used it for like the edge of the hospital bed. And that was just finesse and stuff, man. That's all that was.
That's guerrilla warfare right there.
Put your lips. 3, 2, 1. In and out of the camera. Stay over here longer. Holler at me for the best videos in the city. Fuck everyone else. We got our hospital set up. We got our fake doctor.
The fake doctor, the fake hospital.
Hospital scene in the motherfucking room. Come up like that. Oscar, some more flippies. There you go, Oscar. I let that shit burn. I mean, above all, we're really just trying to bring our A game every shoot, man. We don't do no half-assing around here. This is all packed.
Awesome. Yeah, we talk a lot. We laugh a lot because we dig the arts and you know, again, Tommy's got a lot of it in him as well. It's a trippy deal, but that's kind of how we see our lives sometimes. You know, these big dramatic scenes, you know, that really touch you. You just go, wow, yeah, that's that's the stuff that reaches down and touches you, because it's not only real, but it's as dramatic as it is in my head. When it's happening to you, it's that dramatic. It's hard to relate, to tell people how that feels, but you're reaching out and showing people and putting those feelings that is really hard to get in touch with. You're connecting with those. That's a pretty neat situation for those of us who get to watch your stuff. What do you think about that?
I mean, I try to really hit those emotions. I feel like as a filmmaker, director, like you really got to make people feel a certain way. And I feel like my strengths, at least, is lighting, man. Like I love lighting. I'm a nerd. I look at so many, I look at pictures all day, stills or music videos, and I reverse engineer it. Like, yo, how did they like that? How does this go? And that's really, I feel like the best aspect of my storytelling is my lighting. I really
because he was throwing the light in the kid's eyes, but there was the camera, right? But it wasn't fucking up the camera. It was like, they're really flashing the lights in my eyes, but I was like, how did I not get overexposed or blurry? Or I was like, this dude, how is he pulling this off? I mean, the other part was more powerful to me, but it was bitching to go down that path for sure. And the way the light was on on Mata's face in the car, I was like, whoa, that's freaking deep right there. That's, it's bringing it all out. So very emotional. I was very fired up. I was all jacked up. I was sweating. And it was really, really good, man. It was.
Who do you have anybody that you attribute to learning, more about lighting and that emotional connection? Is there any, what's the story on that?
To be honest, man, I just spent a whole year like digging deep on YouTube, figuring stuff out, like my friend Abdullah helped me early on, but like it's just me digging up, learning this, taking this film course. That's all it is. Just I attribute that to me. But, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm at this point where like I have some really great mentors that like I've been able to connect with, who are at like high levels. And
you're hanging out with good people. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, man. I'm hanging out with the top dogs.
Yeah. I mean, is there going to be some internships in your future, or are you just?
Well, I mean, that's kind of where I've been at for like, I don't know, the past 6 months. Like I'm getting paid on a lot of the stuff, but there's still stuff I pull up and I come for free. I'm like, yo, bro, do you need anything? Let me hop on your set. Like that's originally how I make these connections. I make these connections by DMing top tier dudes, and I'm like, yo, I'll work for free. I'll come on, and just basically like to anybody there trying to reach these people in your field that are at the high levels, what I would say is provide value to people. If you provide value to people, then they will have you around and you'll be able to learn so much. Like I pulled up on so much shit for free, and just I've had like 12, 15-hour shifts just doing stupid stuff that I feel like is whatever, but I'm able to learn from these guys and be around them and make all these connections, get on this set, that set. Like don't underestimate doing shit for free. That's what I'll say.
Right. Yeah. Who's your director? Who's the guy that, is there anybody in the movie industry that you fall in love with? You watch everything they do? Or is it more about cinematography and all that shit?
I really like cinematography because I look at frames all day. I don't have like a particular director or anything that I like, but Tarantino's fire. I watch all his shit.
Yeah.
I haven't really got into filmmaking exactly. Like I'm still in the music lane, like because I love music and stuff like that. But eventually, when I get to a more advanced level, I'll probably like really start dialing into movies and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's that grind. It's that day to day hustle that separates the men from the boys for sure, man. And then the guys that last. I mean, eventually people will hit. But if you're not prepared for when that opportunity shows up, by putting in the time and doing the grind.
Right.
Tom and I coached in a situation where I coached Tom when he was
he was my coach like you.
And then 3 years later, he came back from college and helped us coach in a year that we went to a championship. So he got to see, we were young bucks in the field, and we were playing against the Modern Days and the St. John Boscos and the Bishop Amots and Servites and those guys. And all those coaching staffs were dudes that have been around for 25 and 30 years.
Yeah.
So we were all young, and we knew that the only way to survive was to not get outworked. So we worked ungodly hours and so you'd catch a break somewhere, and if you worked hard enough, you could find a way to compete with those kind of people,
Right.
and those kind of coaches and those kind of programs. But
Yeah.
it's the same thing. You know, you get a little bit of that you know, competitive nature that I saw on the football field.
Oh,
Obviously,
for
you're
sure.
putting it out there in the hustle too.
Yeah, for sure. And I gotta find like a good balance because I'm like super humble. I don't want to be a big bravado. Like that's not me, right? But at the same time, I'm around people who are flexing all day. Like, yeah, I'm the best photographer here. Like, I gotta find a good balance of being cool, being me, but like, yo, don't fuck with me. I'm gonna tear this shit up.
Yes, sir.
No,
Arreola
just be-
Productions, y'all.
Yeah. Just be you. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing that keeps hitting in my head, and I'm nervous about it, is there's going to be a time when there's going to be someone that you admire that's going to ask you to do some work for him, and he's not going to like your concept. And
Yeah.
and
No, for
and you
sure.
know what? That I'm like, I don't know what kind of advice to give John, because what do you do? You know, do you say,
Yeah.
no, man, I got to stick to my guns, and he's going to respect me, or he's going to say, okay, see you later. I'm going to get somebody that's going to do what I want him to do. You know,
Yeah.
even if you don't know the answer, you got to think about that stuff, I'm guessing.
For sure, for sure. People hire me on sets as like a DP, so that's like director of photography. I come through with the camera, I light it up, and
Mhm.
they're the director, right? So
Yes,
like
sir.
I gotta kind of adapt to their ideas, and it's like I don't like this lighting like that, but I know he likes it, so
Right.
all right, I'll bite my tongue. And I just playing the roles. Like I'm down to play whatever role I'm given. If I'm a set PA production assistant, I'll make some
Mhm.
runs. Or if I'm a DP, I'll play my role to the best of my ability and give my input as best as I can. And on my own projects, I'll do me to the best of my ability at the same time.
Right.
It'll make a difference, man. It's the way people get to the top. You know, pay
Yeah.
attention, listen, bust your ass, and have some talent. And you definitely have all those things going for you from all I can see. And tell me a little bit about your thoughts about the world, man. Or what are you trying to say? Are you trying to make any kind of statements in your work? Are you trying to comment socially outside of that? What's happening in the world?
I would say hustle, man. Like what I really want to do at the end of the day is motivate people. Like I wanna bring a kid that was in the same position as me and show him that this shit is possible. Like
Nice.
I think that's one of my higher purposes, to be honest with you. And I really got to elevate myself before I even get into that or dabble in that. But that's really what I want to do is uplift people.
Does race play a part, or is it strictly finances?
I
Is it
think it's finances, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because like there's plenty of white people, black people, whatever, that were in the same position. So I mean,
Got
I
it.
do have a lot of pride for my skin and
Sure.
being Mexican, but like I really relate to the struggle
Right.
of all.
Yeah, don't lose that, man. That's big.
No.
That's big. That's big. You know, I mean, again, that's that pay it forward empathy kind of thing that, you know, you always are able to, you know, and again, I think the karma comes back to you, man. So keep that grind and keep that mentality, because it works, man. And from whatever old man advice, you know, we still got to give to the young bucks, you know, again, it's you're doing it. So we're excited about that. What's coming up, man? And what's next for you? Where are you at in and what are you looking for?
Man, I'm waiting on so many projects to drop right now. I just got to deal with the artists and their timing, how they want to roll out. But I got a lot in the ball, and next year I want to start like getting more serious about making a production studio. So I have a mentor. His name's Damien Sandoval. GOAT, right?
Right.
This dude has 10 production spaces in LA all throughout, and he's just moving like a boss. Like, it's just crazy to see him doing all that. And that's something I want to do, is get my eyes locked in on a production studio. Let's start off small, but I'm hoping to get my funds up and have that ready by next year,
So for
2022.
a young up and comer, we've been talking about this, doing the art, but do you have a side hustle that pays the bills on top of it? Do
Okay,
you?
so yeah.
Mhm.
Prior to this, man, I was like working various jobs, warehouse jobs, going to
Sure.
college, whatever. But I started doing a Lyft and DoorDash for like a long time, man. And
Okay.
listen, if you're broke, you need to make money, you have a car, get on that grind. I'm telling you, you can
The
pull in like,
flexibility is killer, right?
oh yeah, but like if you're a real workhorse, you can make like 1,000 a week, which is a lot for somebody that doesn't have a lot of money. Like you
Right.
can make a killing off that.
Good.
For sure.
Um, So I was doing that, and then I was starting like to make music videos and get money here. And it's been at a point where, luckily, like the last 5, 6 months, I haven't had to do any DoorDash or anything like that. Like
Wow, that's
I've just
cool.
been, yeah, I've just been working off like the music videos I get, and then people bringing me onto their sets. Like it's been a blessing.
Nice.
Wow, that is cool, man. You've turned the corner. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that's for
yeah,
sure.
man,
Yep.
definitely.
People will gravitate, man. People will gravitate to that goodness, and for sure, you know, I, what's the best and the worst of what's going on for you right now, man? What's the best stuff that's happening, and what's the hardest part?
I think the best thing for me, man, is just like just thinking about what the future holds, man. Like I'm so excited for every opportunity that comes, every connection I make. Like it just lights me up because I know I'm gonna be where I want to be soon, or if not later, but I'm gonna get there. So like just looking at the future and being in my present moment excites me, to be honest with you. And like I really can't complain, man. Like I'm sitting good right now. And that's the other thing, man. Like I have a good perspective. Like perspective allows me not to think these negative thoughts and be all like
Oh, man.
fucking bummed out about little shit, because I've been through so much other bullshit that like, a guy canceling on me or shit like that doesn't bother me because I've
Right.
been through so much. So it's about perspective and being grateful for shit. Like I'm grateful for so much. I'm grateful for the place I live in, the clothes I have on my back, like that shit. When you come from nothing, everything's a lot.
Man,
Nice. Yeah,
that's
a good one.
cool.
Okay, and we're gonna cut that right to me saying, all right, man. Yeah, but tell me what pisses you off, man. What's the tough part about this business? What's the thing that really is freaking gets, you go fuck, and you gotta work hard to fight through. What's the tough part of the business?
There's a lot of shady motherfuckers in this shit. I'll tell you that.
Damn.
I will
That's what I'm
tell you that, man. Like there's a lot of people that you work for them and they don't want to pay you, or they want to act like, they forgot. Just shit like that, everyday shit. And you just gotta be bold and be who you are, and not worry about like, oh well, they might not hire me again. Fuck that. If they're not gonna pay you, I don't want to work for
Who
you.
cares? Yeah.
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 It
Well,
is interesting how there's movies being made all over the world now, all over the United States. We talk about Austin, Robert Rodriguez. You talk about Tribeca in New York. You talk about all these different joints. Like everybody's getting out of LA sometimes. They got to get some fresh air once in a while for sure. But
yeah, my brother's over in he's filming second season of Young Rock over in Australia. They're doing all
Oh,
the
yeah.
filming for that in Australia.
yeah,
So I expect some world traveling is probably on the horizon for you as well at some point
Oh
in your career.
yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
could go and see.
I'm going to Hawaii tomorrow or the next day.
Oh yeah,
Right.
sweet.
Yeah, this is my
Dang.
first time I've never flew on a plane besides skydiving. This is like my first time anywhere.
What?
So
Sweet. You heard it
even
here
to
on
say
Out Loud
that,
Podcast, man.
Wait, is this business or pleasure?
well, look, it's pleasure, right? But I'm gonna make it business. I'm gonna make it business for sure. I'm bringing my camera. I'm pulling up on people. Like that's just the type of dude I
You
am.
get some B-roll. Get some
Yeah.
Oh,
B-roll.
for sure.
For sure,
I'm gonna
man.
go crazy.
I'm telling you, man. Well, we are. Anytime you got some stuff you want to throw up, we got
Yeah.
we got a few people that listen and check us out. So we're
Yeah.
always able, and we'll continue to keep our eyes and ears open for opportunities that come along. Tell me
Nah,
a little bit
appreciate
about
that.
yeah, man. Tell me a little bit about you're going. We just went through COVID. We had these elections. A lot of your peers and people of your age group and are thinking politically out in there, marching and doing that stuff. What's happening on that from your point of view?
I'll tell you what, man. Me and my little sister are like completely on the different sides of things. And nowadays, I walk around scared to say shit to piss people off. I'll
Right.
put it like that. Like I don't really say too much or speak too much on that because sometimes my beliefs might make someone else feel a certain type of way, and it's like I don't mean to make anyone feel like that, but that's how I feel.
Let
Your frame speak for you, man.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a shame. We've watched it happen. Where
Yeah.
it does make people have to be quiet. We've all shut down. Actually, Tom and I built this podcast out of all that negative rhetoric that was on TV, and we were. A lot of us were at home during the pandemic, and we had to listen to all the negativity. So we decided to talk to some people that had something positive to say and are fighting the same struggle, because
Mhm.
we all have. But it's a shame that it's put people in a position where they, can't have the kind of conversations that you
Yep.
disagree with and really, really feel passionate about. But, you can shake hands and, we have some close friends that we're able to do that with, but it sucks not to be able to do out in the world. And
Right.
fucking motherfuckers are pretty bold right now.
Right.
People are talking a lot of shit. The internet, the access to the information and people, what they say and what they do, it blows up 6 ways to Sunday every day that I
Oh
see.
yeah. Like, I lived in constant fear of saying the wrong shit and like just getting attacked, man, to be honest with you.
No shit. Well, I'll tell you what, I hope that you continue to find your platform, because I think you got a lot to say, and I think there's it's going to come with growth and age of maturity and all that kind of stuff, and you're going to have an impact on a lot of people, and reaching down and handing back to those young bucks coming up and people that you can tap into and connect with. It means a lot. It means a lot to the old guard like us who are looking for young bucks to come up and make an impact on the world, in that way. So we're proud of you and looking forward to seeing you going forward, man. That's a big deal. Yeah. What do you want to say to the people out there that, here's what I do. Run us down on what you're available for, and we'll put your stuff up there and put your tags up there, and let us know. Pitch yourself real quick.
And all I do is fucking hustle. To be honest with you, that's all I do, man.
Yeah. What type of work? What type of videos are you doing? Are you doing personal stuff? Are you doing only music videos? What kind of clientele are you looking for?
Yeah. So I do mainly music videos. Like, that's what I'm known for. That's what I want to be known for and come up for, is music videos. But on the side, man, like, you'll catch me doing little commercial gigs here and there. I do weddings. I just shot a wedding like last week.
Nice.
And just wherever the money's at, man, I'll go. But I want to let people know, like, my main thing, and that's why you see my page is full of music videos. But at the same time, I do it all. I do it all to a high level.
So we'll just put up your Instagram and people could DM you there, and that's kind of the way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, that's the way for now until I get my LLC, my website, all that. But that's coming. That's coming.
Cool. Well, you'll keep us posted, and we'll keep throwing it up for you and making sure people know what's going on with you. Man, it's really cool to hear your story, man, and catch up with you a little bit and spend some time. I think, like I said, I think there's an audience of ours out there that is looking for some new blood and to restore our faith in humanity a little bit. And root for you, and I think that'll be really cool for us. And we'll keep posted on what's going on with you. We will get this edited up real neat with some of your work, and make sure people get a chance to see it. And anybody we know will definitely hit up. Tommy, got anything else before we jump into our? Go ahead.
Yeah, let's do our quick flow stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to ask you some stock questions that we ask everybody, and then we'll do a speed round. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good to me.
And and I can use some of the video, the Mata stuff, and all that. Is that okay?
Oh, you could use anything and everything.
I'm not going to get I'm not going to get put in jail by YouTube.
Nah, I'll tell them to clear it.
All right, man. So you're stuck on a desert island. What are the 5 records that you have with you on the desert island to survive?
Man, okay. I listen to a lot of rap, so let's start off with that, man. Russ, Do It Myself.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I could give you the artist better than the.
There you go. Yeah,
that's cool.
We got Russ, some Big Sean. Let's see. I know you guys like rock, so we're trying to.
little Pearl Jam, little Foo Fighters.
Oh, Pearl Jam. Yeah. That was my shit growing up. I used to listen to that over and over on the headphones. I forgot the album. It's the pink one. The pink one.
Yeah, 10. Yep. 10. It's called 10.
Yeah.
There's a song.
That's all about the grind.
To sing it. I'm not going to sing it right now. But.
Alive probably is the one you heard. That's cool.
What's that one? I forget it.
I'm Still Alive.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think that kind of suits your situation a little bit.
Yeah.
What about some of that stuff that your mom used to listen to and your pop listened to? Give me one of those. Some of that 70s, 80s.
Rolling Stones for sure. Bump that all the time. She wanted to get that tattooed on her. Actually.
That's good.
Yeah, man.
Stones.
All right.
Cool.
Who is one person who made an impact on your life that doesn't know it?
Ooh, shit. Probably my grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandpa for
In
sure.
La Mirada?
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's like a smart man. He's one of the smartest dudes I know, and like he puts a lot of good shit in my ear.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that has a lot to do with your survival? Is having a certain IQ? Do you think that you were smart enough to say, well, this isn't good. This is
Oh,
good.
for sure, for sure. Like I would hang out with friends who would do stupid shit all the time.
I know because you said you didn't care so much about school, but that doesn't mean you're not smart. You know,
Yeah,
like that doesn't have nothing to do with
really,
it. Yeah.
I was always really in like the advanced classes, and they put me there. And then once I
Right.
got to high school, like I started hanging around with like fucking people like, oh, you're in those classes type of situations. So I had to dumb myself down a little bit, to be honest. But I've always been in like good classes, and
Yeah, you got to assimilate a little bit. That's all right.
yeah.
Let's see. What is one thing every young person should know?
Yeah, man.
You said a couple of them already.
Yeah. I would say just be mindful of who you're around. Like they say, fucking, you're the accumulation of the 5 people you're around the most. So
Dang.
that's what I would say.
That's
Good
deep
one.
right there. All right.
Yeah.
What would you like to be known for in 50 years?
Making the fucking best videos of all time.
Right?
No, that was like a bullshit answer, but like really, I want to be able to put artists on. I want to be so good at my craft that if I see an artist that I like that's unknown and I put him on my page, he has a good career. Like that's
Nice.
That's sweet. Good one.
Opening doors. If you had Jeff Bezos money, what would you spend it on to make your country or your community stronger?
Shit, man. I think the education system is fucking flawed over here, and it's been outdated for like the last 100 years. Everything else has evolved except the classroom.
That's
And
true.
you guys could probably, say that a little more, but yeah.
I think that's a fair since the Industrial Revolution for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Good call. So what does that mean? So you're gonna make it free? You're gonna make more technology? You're gonna change what you're gonna do?
I think the
You got a lot of money.
I would gear the classes more towards life situations and other bullshit, because when you're learning about like math and shit like that, like I don't want to be there doing that. Like if you teach me about taxes and you teach me
Interest rates, yeah.
LLCs, interest, all that, like that's what I want to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like some self-development shit, man, like philosophical self-development.
Yeah. They had those kids. I saw this thing on the news where they had the kids, instead of going to detention, they made them meditate. And it straightened them all out, dude. Those kids were all squared away.
Yeah.
Be
And they did
floating
it.
like monks in there.
Yeah.
Dude, and they did it when they were young. They did it when
they're
they
real
were young.
Yeah, elementary school.
So it just made them have a way to cope when they got older. That was this calming deal instead of the rage that a lot of kids feel. It was really cool, some cool stuff.
Yeah.
But that's cool, man. That's education. Stay on that, man. Keep that
in
your head and keep working on that education thing, man, because people need to hear that perspective.
Okay, what's heaven like?
Shoot, man. I wouldn't be able to tell you, to be honest. That's one thing like I really haven't dove into or kind of neglect that I know I should dive into.
I'm not even talking about religion. Like, what is your heaven? You can put it that way. I mean,
what would be the best thing that could happen when we die?
Chuck, if we ask this guy in a week, he's gonna say Hawaii. So
chilling in Honolulu with my feet up. I'll say that. Yeah, just as long as everybody's around me good, that's heaven.
Okay,
cool.
I like that.
Right on.
And then the last one that we always like to do is sort of this enlightenment concept. Is man inherently good or is man inherently evil?
Based on the people I've been around as of late, I would say good, right? But ask me that like 5 years ago, everybody's a fucking evil asshole.
Do people have a chance to change? Can they change?
100%, man. People have flipped their lives around. Like I've seen tweakers like straight up come clean. You know what I mean? Like
nice.
You could do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good one.
Right. Okay, so I think the speed round is not a very deep speed round. It's more of a pop speed round. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all you're gonna do, I'm just gonna give you 2 choices, and you just pick one. And then
Are we going millennial on him?
I think millennial. Yeah, I don't think you want the old man version. All right, here you go. Are you ready?
Bust them out.
Yeah.
All right. Drake or J. Cole?
Drake all day.
Okay. See? All right. I didn't know you were going to be so passionate. That's good.
All day, man.
All right. Chris Hemsworth or Jason Momoa? Remember, you're
That's
going
like
to Hawaii.
Thor versus
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Thor, because he's been in the game longer, man.
Okay. He's a demigod, right?
Yeah.
Toy Story or Finding Nemo?
Neither, man.
All right. Let's see. That's a good answer. I was like, all right. Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Beer or tequila?
Tequila all day.
Android or iOS?
iOS.
Baseball or football?
You know, I got to give it a football.
Coffee or Red Bull?
Neither. Motivation.
Dollars.
Word.
TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Ooh, that's interesting. I was wondering what you're going to say because of the video concept. You know, okay.
I'm a little slower to go to TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm like an old folk in this game now.
Look at that shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B?
Man. I'll go with Megan.
Vans or Converse?
Vans.
Sushi or tacos?
Tacos all day. Come on.
All right. And the last one, dude with sign or the cranberry juice guy?
Say the first one again.
Dude with sign, the guy that hold up all the signs, or the cranberry juice guy on the skateboard?
Are these commercials?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude.
He ain't got time for that shit,
He
man.
got
That's
time.
the guy we're talking to.
Danse avec moi, ma chérie. Prends ma main, dansons toute la nuit. Séduis-moi sans mentir. Parle-moi de ton avenir. Feeling kiss on my lips. Thinking of you, and I guess I missed the way you tasted on that day. Seduction, seduce. She makes me wanna dance.